G'day and welcome to another edition of the Aussie Ideas Man. Part 2 of the Aptera road trip, and as the thumbnail shows, I just had to do a part 2. If not for just the snapshot of Captain, well, I can't think of his name now. Anyway, that captain who was supposed to be going to Michigan and going in the same direction took a photo of the Aptera he passed. I'm sure the Aptera didn't pass him, but anyway, they were both going in the same direction. I had to do it just for that snapshot. So let's get into it.
And then this was a post from Captain Matt, who's another Aptera ambassador, and he took a picture from his vehicle. He happened to see it in the wild, and he said, "My sexy solar spaceship spotted in the wild, working its way to Michigan on Route 66." Now, because of this,
So here we have it. The cretin picked up on X that is known to Steve Fambro because it's reposted by him. Captain Matt, that's the guy I forgot. Captain Matt's on his way to Michigan and he sees the Aptera going in the same direction as him on their way from, I've forgotten the name of that place too. But in either case, I drew a Google map when I realized that it was impossible for them to cross paths in this manner. Now, my wife has since pointed out that they might have been able to do it if maybe at Arizona, Steve Fambro forgot something he left at the Airbnb in that town I can't remember. Anyway, there's a 1 in a million chance that they didn't go back for something they'd left behind because they never mentioned it on their road trip.
people thought they were going to go all the way to Michigan, maybe to meet up with Sandy Monroe, but that was not the case. They were not going all the way to Michigan. They did a serious road trip of almost 1,000 miles round trip, but they did not go to Michigan. The chase vehicles got a lot of bug splatter, tons of bug splatter.
Just like having a lovely windshield to view from, bug splatter is old news. It's not worth mentioning. There are more important things to do than talk about bug splatter that's been covered years ago and windscreen views.
There was not any bug splatter on the Aptera vehicle. The laminar flow through it made it so that there's no bug splats on it, and that's something that they predicted would happen.
I'll just pause here to say that Steve Fambro omitted to say that the views out the side windows were great. Need I say more?
The wind noise was almost non-existent. But anyway, I thought it was great that they did this.
Okay. Now, I once went up in a glider, and the glider is extremely aerodynamic, and yet it was one of the loudest for wind noise that I'd ever experienced. Much louder than in any car or on any motorcycle I have been in or on. I doubt that it's almost non existent in Aptera, except in the case where they're going so slowly, and I believe that Aptera in this road trip was going extremely slow at most of the time, so wind noise would be almost non existent. But if it got up to a good 85 miles per hour or something like that, I'm pretty sure because it is not designed properly as far as glass thickness and other things that stop wind noise, it would have a considerable amount of wind noise. Now, the cretin at this stage has just gone how great this road trip is, and I say he hasn't looked into it very much at all. He's using a great deal of bias and very little brains.
First real road trip. They went 1,000 miles and they did not have any issues, and they dealt with massive elevation changes.
Yeah, all downhill. They never went 1,000 miles. They went a little over 300 miles, just about downhill all the way.
And also with some pretty big temperature swings. You're going to get really sunny and pretty hot in the low desert. Pretty awesome that they did this. And the aerodynamic optimizations are not fully done on it, so they don't want to fully release it as official numbers. But they said that next week when they release the monthly update, they are going to give us some numbers.
That's one thing I forgot. Besides the hoax that is the snapshot of them going to Michigan, that other thing that I was going to mention was that
Yeah, I think this is the first video footage we have of Aptera driving on the highways. This is a PI build, so this is this is basically what we're going to be building. So it's pretty cool.
Now the one that Hermes, you call it, that you're driving around and studying, I keep seeing that with black wheel pants. Is that just unwrapped, or is that a different kind of wheel pant just for the testing phase, the validation area?
Yeah, good question. People haven't really asked that. It's so that's a good one. It's a basically a track pant, we kind of call it internally. So to take the wheel pants on and off, with the one you saw at the show, it's more difficult than it needs to be for us to be quickly adjusting the suspension a lot. So this one drops right in over the wheels, and we just a couple bolts, and it's a single piece. So it's not what you want for production, because the production one, you can flip up the cover and access your tire pressure and stuff. But for us doing these validation tests, it's helpful. So we're working on obviously the one that looks like a production one will have the wheel pants that look like a production one too. So